Welcome back to the series of presentations on effectively integrate virtual laboratories in your regular teaching by Anita Divakar, RSIDP Educational Technology IIT Bombay under the guidance of Professor Santosh Narona IIT Bombay. We have covered till now these three aspects in the integration. Now we present to you the LoTaAs framework. Now in the earlier presentation we had mentioned to you that we want to integrate the virtual laboratories effectively in the teaching. So we had defined two effectiveness 1 and effectiveness 2. So how do you achieve this in virtual laboratories? Effectiveness 1, making the students do what teachers wish they should do to achieve the learning objectives. That is, assigning the tasks to the students aligned to the learning objectives. And how do we achieve effectiveness 2? Making students achieve what teachers wish they should achieve. How do we do this? Deciding the learning outcomes based on guidelines from educational technology theories. And how do you find out that you have achieved the two levels of effectiveness? Number 1 is asking the students to reflect on the tasks they perform. And number 2, asking the students to reflect on their learnings. So students should be made to reflect by asking relevant questions, that is assessment questions, aligned to the tasks and the learning objectives. So from this discussion, three main components emerge. Number 1, learning objectives aligned to the broad goal or criteria or focus area of that particular experiment. Then tasks aligned to the learning objectives, and assessment questions aligned to the tasks and the learning objectives. So these three components give rise to what is called as a LoTaAs framework. So the LoTaAs framework is the outcome of these three dimensions for effective virtual lab integration. This slide basically shows the LoTaAs framework for the virtual labs. So the first component, that is the learning objectives. These are decided based on the criteria or the broad goal of the experiment. So we will be presenting in the next presentations, we will be giving details about how to arrive at the learning objectives based on the criteria. Then the second component or dimension, that is the tasks. So these tasks should be constructively aligned to the learning objectives. Now this is very important that they have to be constructively aligned. Otherwise the goal will not be achieved. Then the third component is the assessment questions and the method. Again, these assessment questions and the method that we use should be aligned to the tasks that we assign to the students. So these two should be constructively aligned. Now once we have decided on the assessment questions and method, the tasks and the learning objectives, naturally we will look at the virtual lab which has features which are suitable for achieving these objectives, or the virtual lab has features which allow the students or the learner to perform the tasks. Now as these tasks are aligned to the objectives and the questions, naturally this virtual lab with having certain set of features will achieve the learning objectives by performing the task, and with the help of the assessment questions we can find out if the objectives are achieved or not. And we will be discussing this assessment method in details in the next presentations. How this method should be used in the virtual labs, or what is the method that is suitable for the achievement of the objectives in a virtual lab environment. So this is the LoTaAs framework for the virtual labs. So next we will be covering the advice tool which we have designed. This is an online tool available to the engineering faculties for design and development of a dynamic lab manual.